Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we're starting off with a compare game, and then it's going to be pretty much a tier list video. We are going to rank all the players that are playing at champs. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We'll talk a little bit more about the tier list in a bit here, but first, we're going to start out with the CDL Trivia Challenge, the compare game. And our first question for the day, boys. Which player averaged a higher S&D KD ratio this season through Major 3, Lins or Beans? I'm leaning towards Beans.
That's what I was leaning towards. I feel like this is like a trick question.
Lins and that whole team is just pretty underwhelming the whole year. It was Beans, 1.13 to a 0.95.
That's second question. I was looking thinking it might have been. I low-key thinking it might have been a bait for a second.
I was thinking so too, but I'm like, LAG's just been so bad. They're like the one team. Which, speaking of that, we got another LAG player. Second question is, which player averaged a higher number of hardpoint engagements per map this season through Major 3, Abuza or Lunars? I feel like there was a bit where Lunars was playing like a little slower before Fellow joined the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And Abuza, like there are some maps where I swear he's challenged. I think it might be Abuza.
I'm down for Abuza.
Yeah, I'd rather it was
Abuza. 50.2 to 44. Which team has a higher win percentage against FaZe all time? We just keep getting all against FaZe all time questions every week through February of 2025. LAT or Empire? So both teams have beat them in a Champs Grand Final.
I think it's LAT.
Also, LAT plus 100 team. 100T had a few wins against FaZe and Black Ops 4, which would help them. I think it's LAT.
I think it.
Well, Scrap always beats Draza, but that was a more on Ultra.
Yeah. Man.
You want to go with LAT?
Nah, I'm down for LAT if you want.
It was LAT, 39% to 34.9. Which player averaged a higher hardpoint KD ratio this season through Major 3, Insight or Neptune? I mean, that's got to be Neptune. I know Insight is like usually around a 0.95 to 1.0, but I got to believe that's Neptune, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
It was Neptune, 1.08 to a 0.96. It was right on there with Insight. And the final one, which map has a higher number of hardpoint hills, MW2 Embassy or IW Frost? I'm not going to lie, I barely played IW, so I don't even remember, so we should just go off what Embassy had. And Embassy had the middle. And then they had the middle hill here. Then where was P2? P2 was...
They had AC, wasn't it?
Lower AC. It was in where the trucks are.
Yeah. It was and then there was a hill over here. There's a third one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hill.
Then they went top AC, didn't it? And then it went back to like kind of by like Palm. By like Palm.
Yeah, there was the one back here. Is it 5 then?
I think so.
I can't think of the other ones. I can remember the first hills for some reason.
Because our problem is we need to figure out if this one has 5 or not, because I don't remember Frost because I just didn't play enough. I'm pretty sure Embassy has 5 though. I'm like 99% sure. I'm gonna say it has 5, and we know back in IW they weren't dumb enough, like they were in MW2 to put 7 hills, so it's Embassy. All right, 5 to 4 it was Embassy, so we had a perfect day on the compare. Oh no, that was the 5th question. Never mind. We did not have a perfect day.
Gosh.
Which game had a slower long range time to kill, BO3 or World War II? My God, did I jinx it? Now we're not gonna have a perfect day. A slower time to kill. I feel like that is BO3.
I'm thinking that too, but is it a bait?
Brad, are you down to guess BO3?
World War II is so fast. What?
Yeah.
But
I feel like BO3 was slower. I had the longer GTK.
We're guessing it. Okay, it's right. BO3 barely 380 to 375 milliseconds.
Really?
All right, so we went 6 for 6 today.
6 for 6.
Bradley didn't sell. Let's go.
Yeah. Unlike last week.
Okay.
Bradley sells is a new name.
All right. We got the tier list on the screen. You guys can see the players in the bottom there. It's just champs players. I'm thinking maybe like post EWC or something. Although there might be a lot of like new players and challenger players that come in, which would just make it an absolute mess to do like a full season tier list. So like maybe post champs before EWC. Maybe we'll do a tier list or something like that that includes all the non-champs players that played in the season. But it's just kind of, I feel like it's a little pointless to be including like Rocker and, the teams that didn't make it or were just short, because it's like, okay, if I'm ranking Geo and Nero, like who really cares about those guys right now? Until EWC, we're kind of like those guys are on the back burner because they're not playing at the next event here coming up in a few weeks. So we're going to be ranking the players. You can see the tiers we have. We have S through C because once again, it's like, I don't know, at the players at champs, I certainly think there is like a lower tier of players, but I feel like, these are all the players that you made it here. So it's like hard to throw some of them way down. But some people will definitely be in the C tier. And we're ranking them more off recency bias in a way, like since this isn't the full CDL, it's not the full season, I would say, we're going to take into account the season, but we're going to more take into account like majors 3 and 4, the stage 3 and 4 qualifiers and tournaments. Is when we're looking at the stats, when we're referencing stats, that's what the three of us will be referencing from like any breaking point. Like if there's any Slayer rating or like mode specific KDs we want to mention, we'll probably be talking just stage 3 and 4 stuff because we're ranking them, on their current form going into champs. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be looking at. And let's jump into it. We'll do. I mean, obviously now we have 3 of us, so it's gonna be pretty easy to rank people. If we're split on a decision before, it's hard. But now, unless we somehow split into 3 different ranks, but that'd be pretty surprising if we had somebody has somebody in S and somebody has them in B. I would be
there's something wrong.
There's something
scrap
wrong
and
there.
C.
All right, buddy.
Just
I'm just
boot
gonna
me off the
go.
pod.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go from the start, and maybe we'll switch around if we're just like, I don't know. It's like roughly in alphabetical order. You can see, but we'll just go. We'll go with the first player, 04. Where are we ranking him? I feel like he's a weird player. He definitely has been, I would say, underwhelming as of late. He's a 0.97 in terms of his overall KD in stage 3 and 4. But I feel like just eye test wise, I feel like 04, like Neptune's been like that team's star all year. Abuza has really picked it up as of late, I feel like. And I don't know. I just feel like 04 has kind of just been a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's a C tier player. I was leaning B when I initially see him. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a B tier player.
Yeah. Initially, I was thinking C plus, but
I just think he has moments. Like
Yeah.
he still is at a 0.97 overall. I think he has moments of like takeover, and like he does play a style of play that like does kind of lend itself to like having more stinker maps because like he plays so fast and he's kind of an entry sub in a way. Like he's playing so fast that like when you're playing at that rate, like you're kind of bound, I feel like, to have some bad maps. And of the players that are here, I mean, there are a couple extra players in this. I sorted by just the teams that are left. So there are a couple extra players in the breaking point stats because they like played for the team for a while. So like Vivid and Skies are just like randomly included in this sort that I have. But they're thankfully the 2 on the bottom, so it doesn't really affect it. So of the players we're ranking here, 04 is 22nd overall KD. Not that KD is everything, but I just feel like the pace he plays at, he does have at least some impact. So I think of these tiers, he's probably B, but we'll see what you guys have to say.
I'm kind of with you on the B tier. I definitely see some of these players that 04 is definitely better, and I would put those players in C for sure.
Yeah, 04 also, he's 1.0 in hardpoint and a 1.03 in S&D. He's really struggling in control at a 0.9. And I feel like that checks out to me because I do feel like 04 does make a lot of plays in search. And like, I don't know, when I look at a guy like him, like once again, like KD is the first metric you can look at to kind of like see. And like, I think the other big one that a lot of people don't look at enough is just their engagements. Like what role are they playing? And do they have like, oh my God, we got like a giant ad on the screen right now if you're watching the video. I don't know what just came up there, but if you're looking at a guy like an 04 or an Insight, was an extreme example on the slow end, like I'm always looking at their engagements per 10 because that can tell you a lot. Like Cellium for a while, that was a stat when they weren't winning. It was like Cellium is so low in engagements per 10. And I feel like 04 having a 1.0 in hardpoint is like basically what I want out of him. I want him setting crazy pace and being around 1.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true. Are
you good with B, Brad? I know you said initially C, but are you good with B as well?
Yeah, I'm good with B. Yeah.
I think he's maybe lower B, and maybe we'll start to rank them within the tiers a little bit as we go. But next player is an interesting one because he's a guy that a lot of times when you do these rankings, he's an S. I personally don't feel like he's been there. Maybe early on in the year, I don't think he's been there as of late. And this team obviously hasn't been there as much as of late because they won the first two events, and they have not come out and won either of the last two events and repeated from that. And that is a BZ. I do think he probably for sure deserves to be a tier above 04 in the B tier. I think a BZ's an A, and I think he's pretty firmly an A, but it's a low ranking for a BZ compared to normal because we're so used to him being an S tier.
Yeah, he hasn't had his one of his games. Sometimes not we haven't seen this kind of a BZ up and down like this. He's at a
Yeah,
0.98 on the for these last two splits, like you said.
Yeah, and like a 0.98 for a BZ, really, like that's not all that concerning to me. Like once again, kind of like 04 with a BZ's play style, like he hasn't had too many crazy years where he's been at like a 1.1, 1.2 because like his play style lends itself to just more bad maps or just not as big in numbers because he is just getting so many engagements. But like a 0.91 for him in hardpoint, not the greatest. I would like to see him closer to a 1. I think the big thing for me is in S&D, he's at a 0.95, which is among like the last two events among all these players. That's 24th out of 32 players that we're ranking here. And I know once again, like the numbers might be a little off because Skies and Vivid are in this shit. But First Bloods as well. A BZ, he's 10th, which is not bad at all. But like a BZ being in 10th, like we're used to him being double the First Bloods of everybody else. Like Shottzy's 1, Hydra's 2. Scrap 3 is kind of surprising to me. Metals and Real tied for 4th, 2 people on the same team. But like a BZ being down at 30 and 10th is just like he's not having that normal impact that we're used to seeing. He's 30 and 36 in opening duels. Winning 45% of his opening duels. Like he's just not having the same impact, but he's still been like having some random pop-off maps, and he's still been very good. He's just not the superstar BZ we've seen, as of late. Yeah. I think he's A tier though, unless you guys have any disagreements there.
Not this year.
A tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next player, we're going back to Surge. It is Abuza. I would say this is a guy that if we were doing this based on the first two majors, he would be lower. I think he's moved up. He's had a better second half of the year, which is kind of how it was last year as well.
Yeah.
He's been better as of late. Like maybe the team didn't have as good a success in stage 4, but I would say Abuza for sure. I guess whoever wants to go first for your thoughts on Abuza, where you should put him. I want to like filter quick by just stage 1 and 2 and compare to what he had.
Abuza has been better of late. I think I would like to put him either at the top of B, like B plus or A for now.
Yeah, so I did sort it. He had a 0.98 over the 2 stages and a 1.03 over the final 2. So that does check out, like, I mean, going from a 0.98 to a 1.03, like a 0.05 change, over a decent sample size for the two, over 2 online splits, 2 tournaments for both, it is a pretty good jump. And also, you can see it in the eye test. Like, I feel like, because we would talk about it a lot early in the year. Like, I think you and I both preseason kind of talked about like Abuza potentially like being on our radar for being a top 5 AR in the game.
Yep.
And he wasn't that early in the year. I still don't know that he, hit that at the end of the year because there were some ARs that really had some crazy years this year. I don't know if Abuza, is in that category, but like he certainly was much better and, more respectable in those top AR conversations towards the end of the year. I'm kind of on the same boat. I'm thinking high B or low A. He might be somebody who moved red. What were you thinking at first?
Honestly, my first like initial reaction was like at the very bottom of A. Just because, like, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like he is better than 04, which it could lean towards, like, the part of, like, high B. I just feel like his impact, especially in, like, the hard points, has been, like, important, especially for, like, the Surge success,
Yeah, and I feel like Abuza has a crazy takeover. I feel like
100%.
He has some moments, and especially in hardpoint, where I feel like he has maps where he just wills his team to win, and we saw that like he was trying to at Champs last year. Abuza, Brock and I talk about it all the time, but like last year we were watching Abuza in round 1 at Champs, and that guy was dragging his team to try to win.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't win, but Abuza was doing everything he could. He has a 1.11 in hardpoint in the final 2 stages, a 0.88 in S&D, and a
Struggling there.
0.95 in control. So it's like he's struggling in S&D and control numbers wise, and he's just dragging through in hardpoint. It's like if he can just improve that S&D and in control, he'd be in an even better spot. I'm down to put him low A if that's where you guys were leaning, and maybe he's a candidate to like if we start to fill it out, maybe he moves on into B. But I'm down for low A.
Yep, I'm down.
Next player on the list is Beans. I feel like this guy is maybe the opposite of Abuza in terms of like the trend of his year. I feel like Beans was, really, really, really good to start the year, and I don't think he's necessarily been like terrible, but I mean he's 29th out of 32 out of these 32 players in KD in the final 2 stages. Now I do want to compare that. Granted, a little bit of an asterisk on there. He didn't play at Major 3, so a little bit less of a sample size for him. But like, if you sort by just the stage 1 and 2, I wonder where Beans would be at numbers wise then, from a 0.93 to a 1.03.
Yeah.
So a 0.1 drop off, which in terms of KD, a 0.1 drop off is a big drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A 1.03 to a 0.93, and it's also been visible. Like sometimes, like if the player's still having a big impact, like you don't notice that 0.1 as much. But I feel like it's been a big drop off, and I do think like there's a little bit of a pass he deserves there because having to sit out a major and whatever, like it could have messed with the trend he was going in. But this is a player that as of late, like if you're going over the once again, like as of late, not the course of the whole year, like as of late, I feel like you could say Beans is teetering between B and C. I'd say on the whole year, I'd probably put him in B for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But as of late, I don't know. I'm looking to you guys for your opinion if he should be. I think he's at best a low B or a high C.
I'll take this.
Beans.
So Beans, man, he's fun to watch, and I feel like what I'm about to say is kind of disrespectful, but like I feel like due to what he's been doing, and we're doing this based off of recency bias, he's got to be C.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. He just hasn't been the same the second half of the year. He hasn't been as good. I don't think like team success wise they've been fine.
Yeah.
But like he only played at one of the majors that we're talking about and we're referring to here more, and I don't know. He just hasn't. I feel like I just like don't like we did our draft last week. Nobody drafted him.
Right.
Granted, like he maybe could have been picked in one of the AR spots in like the final couple, but like nobody drafted him. I'd be down to put him top C. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Brock?
I think we'll put him in C for now and see who else we have. But I will say the one thing good going from him is he's still very good at S&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always been since he entered the league. He's always been a pretty good S&D player. He has a 1.12 in S&D, which, like you said, respawn he's at like a 0.9 overall, and the S&D's really, really been good for him as of late. But I could see him being a low B. It's just as of late and how we're doing this with the recency bias, he just hasn't been the same player that we've seen. And I will not be shocked if he does have a good champs though, because he is a 100%. Shooter, and like I think the reps and him getting kind of back into the swing of things is going to be really helpful for these next few weeks.
Yep.
I feel like Beans is one of those guys where literally if he gets just one of those moments where he can stand up and yell at somebody on LAN, he's back. I feel like it's just like that. It's just gonna be a snap of the fingers. He gets that cracked moment, and now he's just fully back. And then Toronto becomes really scary.
Yeah, he can. I feel like he certainly can be like a momentum player. Somebody that kind of feeds off that. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
The next guy, though, I mean, he's going to go below Beans. He's 32nd in terms of qualified KD, and the eye test would agree. He just hasn't been that good. I don't know what else to say. Like he's had a few moments here and there. He had that crazy control clutch in Hacienda. That was a good pick. That 1v5 or whatever, 1v6. And that's like his only moment. I mean, I think he's down there in C tier with Beans. He has his moments. He's a serviceable player, but he's just, in terms of like ranking him with all these other players that qualify for champs, he's just not. He's one of the worst players there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Right. I mean, we have a two-person agreement, but I'm sure you're probably on board with that.
Not much
Yeah,
to say.
yeah, not much to add on to that.
There's also not much to even say about the next player. He's an S tier. Mr. Celium is up next. He's the MVP of the season or Scrap. It's probably going to end up being Scrap just because he wins the last two majors and Scrap certainly deserves it. But Celium's the other contender. Celium's top 2 in the MVP debate. He's no doubt up there in S tier.
Celium's just insane every year.
He's built different,
and this year he played faster, which is great.
He's literally they flipped that switch at EWC last year. And Celium started to really play faster, and since then it's just been like, oh god, Celium figured out how to play even more. Like, what do we do? I mean, he is the epitome of like if you're ever going into a year, it's really like him and Scrap, and then like if you want to pick a submachine gun, it's probably Hydra, or I should say Simp, just because he's been doing it for longer. But like Celium, Scrap, Hydra, Simp, it's like those 4 players is like you want to bet on somebody to be really good in the game before you even see what the title looks like. It just pick Celium of anybody. Like his floor is just so high. Like every year, Celium's going to be really, really good. Like he's either going to be like top AR in the game or top 2 AR in the game, or like if he's having an off year, he's going to be like maybe top 4. Like the dude's unreal. He is the safest S tier. He's probably been in like damn near every S tier since he started playing.
Yeah, sure. He's probably had the leading KD basically every year too.
Yeah. Did he end up finishing it with this year? Or was it between him and I think he did end up KD this year.
Yeah, I think it was Cell by Celium.
Yeah, which I mean,
or
every
Hecz,
year,
or Hecz if you want to call it like that.
You're going for like the very few matches Hecz is there, but
yeah,
Celium's an S tier, and our next player from the Toronto Ultra is Cleanx. I mean, the story of this guy's career is up and down, but mostly up. I mean, he has had some great moments. His team, I feel like we all expected them to be like, going into the year, it was like the big 3. Optic obviously didn't live up to that big 3 hype going into the year. And Ultra, like a lot of people, you and I included, Brian, kind of thought like they're like the 4th team. Like I think this Ultra team might be the team that's up there in the top 4. And I like, you can make the debate, like, Miami's up there with them too. But Ultra, I would feel like they lived up to the hype this year. Like they've been a wire to wire, basically a top 5 team.
Yep.
Maybe as of late they've been 5th, but for a while they were certainly 4th until kind of Miami had their late season surge. And Cleanx has just been like a really good player. He's been good as of late. I don't think he's been like crazy. He's literally like just like a 1.0 basically across the board. 1.0 in hardpoint, a 0.99 in S&D, a 1.0 in control. He sets good pace. He's got a really high Slayer rating as well, just due to that pace that he sets and his engagements per 10. And what is his hardpoint kills per 10? Where is he ranking hardpoint kills per 10? Yeah, that's what I thought. He's 4th in hardpoint kills per 10. He's up there in 6th in hardpoint damage per 10, just like setting crazy pace. I think he's like a high B, low A tier player.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking right around like the high B area. I think he can definitely get into that low A. I wouldn't be angry if we were to put him there, but I definitely feel like he's just been so consistently like really good, but he hasn't been like that's like the superstar, like where I would kind of expect to be like an A tier,
Yeah, I would agree. He has like his A and even S tier moments, but he also has those moments where he's playing like a C tier player. Like he's just a little bit. He's always been up and down. And like once again, kind of like 04, like those players that have that play style, like you are going to have bad maps. It's a guarantee.
Yeah,
that's why aBeZy is the best at that role, because aBeZy is like somehow just almost never has bad map. Like within that role, and that's why he's the best ever at that crazy fast paced entry sub. But I think I agree, Brett. I think Cleanx is like towards the top of B. I've certainly put it ahead of 04. I think he's towards the top of B, and he could be low A, but I just think like when I'm looking at the list, there are like at least a handful of subs that I would say are better than Cleanx in the season, and as of late that I would want above him. So I would think high B, but Brock, are you?
I'm on board. I'm with high B.
Okay, I'm gonna throw him in high B then.
Yeah, like I said, I would take some subs still.
Yeah, there's certainly a handful of subs that I would put above him, even as of late.
Yeah.
Our next one is interesting because he's another guy I would say that falls in that Beans camp of, maybe better early in the year than this next player is Dashy. I think he falls in the Beans camp a little bit with, I mean, obviously not as drastic, but like, I feel like Dashy, like, remember early season in stage 1 before Optic kind of had their fall off? Like, people were saying like Dashy and shottzyy might be the best sub and best AR in the game. Like, that's what the talk was. Dashy and shottzyy were unreal. I mean, like, so Dashy had a 1.05 in stages 1 and 2 and a 1.04 in stage 3 and 4. So maybe, numbers wise, I'm blowing out a proportion in my head, but like, what was he just in stage 1? Just in stage 1, he had a 1.09. And if you take out the tournament and just do the online, he was at a 1.14. Because remember, they bottomed out at the tournament, but before the tournament, Dashy had a 1.1 and shottzyy had a 1.2. shottzyy was leading the league. And huke came in. Yeah, that's why Optic was so unreal. Huke came into the team, was second with a 1.18. shottzyy was 1 with a 1.2. Dashy had a 1.1. I think Kenny was a 0.9 something. Yeah, Kenny was a 0.91. So like those three were just frying shottzyy, huke, Dashy, and like that's why it feels like he's been a little underwhelming. I think is just because like early on it was like he's the best AR in the game. Is what a lot of people were saying. I remember Octane had like a famous clip being like he might be the best player in the game. I still think Dashy's been really consistent for them though. Like I don't know. Where do you think Dashy should be, Brock? Before I say what I think.
I think Dashy, even though he does, have his ups and downs, I think still an A type of player, but maybe towards the bottom of it.
Okay, Brad, thoughts on that?
So before like Major 4 and Major 4 quals, I would have put Dashy in like middle B, low B. He's definitely turned it around as of late, which I think is obviously kind of Optic is also winning again. So I kind of agree with Brock. I think Dashy can be an A player. I don't know, that Major 3 is just kind of lingering. I feel like if you were to put him, I think he's a high B, honestly, right now. Like he's played really, really well, and I think the team chem is coming around. But like, yeah, I just think high B. Maybe I'm crazy.
I don't know though. Like, if you actually just purely, I know there's a lot more to it, but just looking purely at KD, like,
okay,
if you include both the qualifiers and the tournaments, he had a 1.09 in Major 1. People were calling him the best player in the game, and in Major 3, what you were referring to, he had a 1.07.
Yep. Oh,
so Major 2, I mean, that was Optic's real bottom.
right.
Dashy was at, I can't even find him here. He was at a 0.98 in Major 2, then bounced back to 1.07. I think high B can be fair for him. I just like, depending on where we put the other Optic players, I might want to change it to low A, because I think, like, once again, if this was for the whole year, you would literally have to put Dashy in A just because of his Major 1, and then like he's been pretty good as of late. Like just for that Major 1 and how good he's been as of late, like I feel like you have to put A, because like he had a stage as arguably the best AR in the game, or obviously Cellium and Scrap kind of easily took that over. I'm okay with high B if that's what you think as well, Brock.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down high B.
I'm gonna put him at the top of B for right now. Then we got Drazah, who I would say the talk with Drazah, in my opinion, I think it just starts and ends at A tier. I think he just slots in right behind a BZ in A tier, or maybe above BZ actually.
I like it.
Yeah,
I don't care about Drazah's stats. I don't know. He just plays so fast and just helps them.
Yeah, I think the exact same thing. If you look at his stats in Majors 3 and 4, he's at a 1.02, but that is literally so irrelevant to me. And what's funny is it's also completely irrelevant to me for the next player we're about to rank, because he's at the same KD as well, and it's completely irrelevant in my opinion. Drazah, I feel like, is almost the gatekeeper of S in a way. Like, I think like he's going to be right at the top of A. I don't think there's going to be many players that we put above him in A tier. It's kind of maybe there will be a player or two we put above him, but I feel like Drazah Are you better than Draza, as of late? Okay, you can go in S tier. Are you worse? Okay,
Mhm.
you're an A. Like, I feel like he's going to be kind of the gatekeeper between the two tiers, along with the next guy. I think Envoy is at the top of A as well.
Agreed.
Yep.
Envoy has been the whole season he's been elite, but Envoy as of late, like I couldn't rave more about what Envoy's been doing. He's at a 1.02 over the past two stages, a 0.91 in hardpoint. His engagements are decently high. He's at a 1.32 in S&D, which is ridiculous, and a 1.11 in control. His 1.32 is behind Super, who has a 1.33. His 1.32 is second in the league. In terms of first blood percentage, he's got Hydra and Scrap on his team, who are second and third among this 32-player group in first bloods, and Envoy is in eighth, or I guess tied for seventh. He's right up there still, even though he has two players in his team that are basically leading this group in first bloods. He's right up there. His opening duel win percentage is a 56%, which is kind of towards the top as well. He's been a top S&D player. He still gets it done in hardpoint, and he's just been making winning plays. And he's obviously, Hydra and Scrap get all the big talk because those two put up the flashy plays and like the big numbers. But Envoy is the glue to this team for LAT, and he's the reason they're winning. I think I want to put him at I actually want to put him above Draza. I might make him the gatekeeper of S tier.
I'm down for that.
Above Draza? I like the spot, but I don't know if I put him above Draza.
They're like the same player for their teams.
Yeah, they're the same player for their team, just using a different maybe a little different Draza, like you said, he plays so fast, but like these two are both like the same thing. Like they are the glue to their team.
100%.
And they're damn good at their role. They are the best of the best at their respective roles.
Yeah. I definitely thought if you come into the season, I definitely thought Envoy would struggle a little more, but definitely has not struggled whatsoever.
Yeah. I thought numbers wise, Envoy was going to be like settling in like the mid to low 0.9 range. Not because I think Envoy is a bad player, but I just thought like between Scrap and Hydra and even Ghosty, they were just going to get so many kills that like I thought one of Ghosty or Envoy's numbers were just not going to look all that great. Like I still thought they'd be playing well. I just thought numbers wise, paper, they're not going to look that great. And both of them, they haven't suffered that much because over the last two stages, Ghosty and Envoy are both at a 1.02. So on paper, it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, Envoy has like there have been moments in series this year where it's like Envoy is the best player in the team. Which I didn't think I'd be saying that much. I thought it'd be basically every series, Scrap and Hydra were trading off who the best player was on the team at the moment.
Yeah, and he played really well in the first finals that they lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a lot of big moments. I forget in the Major 3 he had a clutch S&D or what? I'm blanking. He had a clutch S&D or like a big moment that was like kind of like propelled them to help win the tournament and gave them a lot of momentum.
I think I remember, but I can't remember the play, but I know you're talking about.
He had a really high kill map, I think, as well, and like a round 11 clutch or something. I can't remember, but yeah, I think he's at whether you want to put him or drop top. I think it's irrelevant. I think they're basically even.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next guy is I feel like I don't know. I don't even want to say what I think about him. Next guy is Ghosty. Where do you
Ghosty? Man, Ghosty's like kind of like similar to Envoy in a way.
Yeah, kind of another glue guy in his team, like to enable their two superstars, and he's been really good. I do feel like I don't even want to say like, oh, I think he might be the worst player in their team this year because they've all been excellent. Like they've won the last two events for a reason. There is no bad player on their team.
Yeah,
but Ghosty's still been really, really, really good this year. He plays a natural role where he's just not going to have those crazy plays because like he has so much slaying power in his team that he's just a gap filler for the team and he does it well.
Right.
Yeah,
I think he's at the top of B or low A.
I'd be down to put him in low A for now.
Okay.
I was honestly thinking like middle A, to be honest.
All right, if you guys both think A, I was thinking like I'll put him ahead of Abuza there at the A, get him more towards the middle. I was thinking like absolute top of B or low A, so we can definitely settle on A if you guys both think A as well.
Yep.
All Our next player is definitely a faller over the past few stages. Gwyn, once again, if we were doing this over the course of the whole year, early season, Gwyn, really, really good. But he's 23rd in terms of qualified KD among these 32 players, 0.97. And just Carolina as a whole, the players are going to be ranked a lot lower than they would have been, just a bit ago. Like, I wonder what was Gwyn? He goes from 0.97 at the end of the year. What did he have to start the year? If you sort by just the first two stages, he was a 1.1. He was 5th in the league in KD over the first two stages, tied with Simp.
Oh.
It's been rough.
That's
I still think, like, I don't put him all the way down in C. I still think he goes in, like, the 04 territory because it's kind of the same idea in my head. Like, it's been a struggle as of late, but like this pop-off moments are still there, and you still probably make the argument he's the best player on his team.
I think we should put him in front of 04.
In the B tier, are you down with that, Brad?
Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good spot.
Actually,
I think.
I want to see LAN versus online this year. Gwyn on LAN this year is at, where is it? He did have that one really good series against Falcons where he pub stomped and helped. He has a 1.02 on LAN this year. And online, Gwyn has 1.06. Actually, isn't that crazy. I was thinking it'd be a little crazier, but yeah, I'm down to. I'll put him right ahead of towards the bottom of B for now. It's definitely been a fall off from early year for him. Our next player is a guy that, speaking of online LAN, regardless, he's been very, very, very good this year, regardless of whatever your thoughts are on him. He's number 7 amongst these players over the last 2 stages in terms of KD, tied for 6th, actually, if you really want to talk about it that way. It's Huke. Huke has been, like, I have my thoughts on Huke, and it's like, his team's struggle on LAN. He still only has the 1 LAN championship, and it was a weird one with LAG, but, I mean, whatever way you want to cut it this year, Huke has been really good.
Yeah.
Even on LAN, like, overall, if you sort by the entire year of LAN, Huke is still 10th with a 1.04, tied with Beans and Real. And then you go online, and that guy goes to 3rd with a 1.15, tied with Hydra. As much as I, like, don't want to count as much online, like, I feel like Huke wire to wire, like, all of stage 1 when Optic were elite, like, people were even saying he was, like, potentially the best player in their team. Even when Dashy and shottzyy looked as good as they did, like, Huke was like Superman in challengers. I think he's low. I think he's been that good this year. I know the team hasn't been that good, but I think Huke is really good this year.
You say low A?
Yeah.
I would say, I would say low A or B, top of B.
I just, like, I know maybe the team placements haven't been as good, but, like, when I look at the players in B in terms of, like, how I'm going to remember them this year, Dashy and Kleenex definitely a little bit above 04 and Gwyn for who we have in there now. But, like, when I look at the players in that B tier, I feel like especially the subs. Like, when I am looking back at Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 6, and like maybe a few months after the season, and I'm thinking about the SMGs, I think of Gwyn, 04, and Kleenex, I'm gonna remember Huke as a tier above them.
Agreed.
Huke, I mean, he's been pretty damn good. I think we put him, like, we can even put him below all the players that we have in A right now. I just think he'd be up there.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah.
Huke has been just, very consistently good.
Yeah. I mean, the next guy's S tier. There's no doubt about that. Best SMG in the game this year, probably. If I don't think there's really
Hydra
there.
I would say so.
Undoubtedly.
So he's certainly an S. Our next guy is an interesting one. Jamie Insight. Once again, another guy that, like, his numbers basically always look the same. I swear every time you look at Insight's overall numbers, and shocker, again, you sort by the past 2 stages, he's at a 0.94. It's like every time you look at Insight, the guy's at a 0.95. Slow in terms of engagements. He's low in engagements. And he just is, like, getting the job done in his role, but, like, he's just not, he's literally dead last amongst these players in engagements per 10 and hardpoint. In terms of S&D, he's at a 0.85, which for him is, really, really bad, because normally he's up there. Like, that's, like, where he makes his money is, like, clutches and S&D. Where is he at in first bloods? He's 25 first bloods, 48% opening duel. Really bad S&D KD. Control, I believe. Yeah, he's at a .98 in control, which is best KD. His best KD. Insight, once again, can't look at the numbers too much, but I think to me he's a bottom B, high C player. As of late.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about where we should put him.
I was leaning towards more the high C, honestly.
Think so?
Yeah.
I was thinking low B, but I'm down for high C as well.
Let's throw him in. Man, I don't know, because he does
He's such a good player.
It's not, yeah, because it's also not a mistake that like Ultra have been consistently as good as they are with like him. It's not they have rotated in other players to be that team's third and fourth for how long now, and they just stay towards the top of the league because like Insight and Kleenex have a system, and like Kleenex, it's a lot like Draza and Envoy in a way where like maybe their numbers are insane. Obviously, I don't think Insight is on the level of those two, but like their numbers aren't going to look insane, but they are going to impact winning. And I think Insight, we're talking more of an individual player though. I'm down to go high C, but if he starts to look weird, I want to right to maybe move him to low B.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm down.
He does have a lot of impact on winning.
He does,
because it's not a mistake that hit consistently since he basically joined the league. He broke out at BO4 champs. His first year into the league, was in the CDL. He doesn't get on a team in MW19, or at least a starting roster, and then he makes his way in for it instantly. Team starts winning, and from there on out, they've been basically in the top 4 ever since. Like, it's not a mistake. The guy's a good player. That's why I'm like, maybe low B, but we'll keep him here for now. The next guy is very interesting. We're getting into that debate of we got to look at Envoy and Draza. It's Joe Deceives. I mean, I don't think there's any debate. He's at a minimum A.
Joe's so good, bro.
He's been
he is really good.
He's been so good this year. I mean, I think behind Hydra, Simp, he might be the third best SMG in the game this year. He's up there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Envoy has been unreal this year. Huke's been really good this year. I think Joe's ahead of both of them. You can definitely say Envoy is ahead of him just to, like we just talked about the impact to winning. But Joe might be S tier. I think he might be a tier above the players this year that are in A.
Joe is, to me, S tier because without on Ultra, without him, they're not getting top 4s. Whoever you put there.
No, because basically the only players that have been at the level or better of Joe would be like Hydra and Simp this year, and they obviously were never getting either of those two players.
Yeah.
So like replace him with like the next closest thing they could have gotten would probably be Huke, right? Because he was a challenger player, like they could have realistically gotten him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put Huke in this team, as good as Huke has been this year, and Huke has been good, we have him in the A tier. I don't think that this team is nearly as good if they have Huke as compared to Joe.
100%.
I think Huke goes at the bottom of S. I certainly have Hydra and Celium above him, but I'm down.
Yeah,
he has been that
I'm
good
for it.
Yeah, I'm all in on S. All in.
And our next player is interesting to me. Joe's been unreal. Our next player is very interesting though too. A lot. I mean, the Major 3 and 4 is literally his entire sample size. He didn't play in Major 3 qualifiers. He played at the Major 3 tournament for his debut, and then he played for Stage 4. He actually didn't even play all of Stage 4 online because he got brought into the team after one match, and then he played at the Major. But the entire time, wire to wire, he's been excellent, and that is Mercules. This guy has got to be an A. I mean, among these players, he's top 5 in terms of KD. He's 5th. He has a 1.03 in hardpoint. His engagements in terms of his role are decent. He's kind of middle of the pack in engagements. In terms of damage per 10, where is he at here? He's at 14th. Kills per 10, he's sitting at 18th in hardpoint, that is. Where is he at in terms of 1.12 in search? And we all know the 1.23 in control. I think he's been A. Too early to put him in S. We've seen a couple of good stages from him, and we're only ranking it on recency. Still, like your Celiums, your Scraps, even like Rencor, just based on recency bias, I feel like maybe ahead of him. But like Mercules has been pretty good. I think he's an A tier.
Yep. Agreed.
From you, Brad?
Nah, I don't think you can put him any lower than A. He's been spectacular. You couldn't have you couldn't have probably wanted him to do better if you wanted to. He's just been huh?
I mean, I was gonna say for you Optic fans out there, he quite literally saved Optic's season. Like, not saying they're gonna win
100%.
champs or anything, but like they keep skies in. We're not even like paying attention. We're only paying attention to Optic for champs because they're out. They still have skies in.
Yep.
Like they are. I wouldn't say they're a contender, like a top contender, but like we're looking at Optic as like they could make a top 4 run, maybe make things interesting. If they have skies, we're like, will they win a match? And now we're like, okay, they could win their first match, and then all of a sudden, could they upset and make it into winners finals? Obviously, they get unlucky because they have to play phase in the first round. But we're talking about Optic making a top 4 run at champs. We're not talking about that if they pick them.
Yep, I agree.
I'll just throw him kind of in the middle of A tier. I think he's pretty firmly in A tier. I don't think you can make an argument for S really, and I don't think you can make an argument for B. He's pretty firmly where he is.
Yeah.
The next player is Mr. Metals. He's at a 0.94. I would agree. I do think I do want to put a little respect on Metals because I do think he's a pretty smart player. And I do think he tends to make the right play a lot. And I do think he's a decent glue and veteran for this team. But yeah, in terms of the players we're ranking here, I do think he's towards the bottom. But I've bashed him a lot, and I know you and I have both bashed him a lot. But I do want to say he is a solid glue guy, and he can be effective on a team like this where he has 3 high tier players around him. But yeah, I think he's down in C probably.
Has his moments, love to see that.
Yeah, I think he's down there. I'll put him towards the top of C with what we have down there now. But yeah, I would agree with you. He can have his moments. He's decent, but he's towards the bottom of the players here. He's 27th among these players in terms of their KD over the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next guy, Nasty. He's I would say overall this year has been a good one for Nasty, and the numbers show over the past 2 stages exactly. He's the only player among these guys with exactly a 1.0, and he's a 1.1, which is higher than I thought it was, but I feel very strongly about where Nasty should be. I wonder what you guys think. Brad, let's hear what you say, Brad.
Oof. I think he's middle of B.
Okay.
But I just I don't know. I think he should be right next to 04 kind of.
Think?
Yeah, maybe okay. I think lower, but yeah, I think he should be by 04.
Brock?
I think Ness is definitely a B type of player, 1.0 last 2 stages. Where to put him? I'd definitely put him in front of 04 though.
Yeah, I'm throwing him my thought was right now the way I have the B tier is Dashy at the top, then Kleenex, then Gwyn, then 04. I was gonna stick Nasty right in the middle.
Yep. Just very average and not bad and not very, very good, but
And Nasty, I feel has had he's had a little bit more of a takeover at times this year. I feel we've seen a little bit more of the Nasty takeover. He's had some really pop off maps, some good teams too, and as of late, he has just been solid. I don't even know how else to describe it. He's just been a really solid player. He hasn't been top tier, and he never has been low. He's just, I think Nasty is going to be just a CDL staple. Since I saw him play on London, I always thought he was pretty good. He was just on some bad teams. I think he's just a CDL staple. You need a flex player that can pull out the sub and be effective with it, can use the AR and be effective with it, and just be an overall solid player and gap fill. Nasty is just really good. He is he's a stereotypical middle B tier player. I feel not a superstar, but he's just a really good gap filler, and he's just a good player. If you have him on your team, you're gonna be okay at the flex position.
Yeah, and that kind of shows with his KD with a flat 1.
Yeah, he's just a solid player. And his teammate has essentially turned that team around, and that's Neptune, the next guy. I don't know how he can go anywhere other than A, in my opinion. I know the last stage for Surge maybe hurts these guys a little bit just because of their LAN performance. they got double rounded and they were out, and a pretty horrible loss to the Falcons. But I mean, the body of work. I know we're not doing it for the whole year, but I feel like for this one play, we got to take it into account. Like Neptune, literally, like we're not even talking about. Probably not even at champs if they don't have him.
Yeah. Nep, yeah, A for sure. Nep literally changed the team around, and
yeah,
he's been doing well ever since.
Yeah, I'm kind of losing track of just like keeping him in order, but I'm just gonna kind of throw him into like mid low A.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because literally, I mean, I don't even know how you could disagree with it. Like Neptune, literally, we're probably not talking about their entire team right now without him. Like with Hecz early in the year, they were horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not getting to a finals with Hecz.
2 finals. They got the 2 finals also.
Yeah, not 1 but 2.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, like these guys made it to 2 finals, and Neptune, like, and I was a Neptune hater when they picked him up. I was like, why did they pick up Huke?
Yeah.
Like, and it sounds like they tried to pick up Huke first, so they agreed with me. But Neptune, I mean, the guy, I don't know, I couldn't gas him up more. I've become a big fan of him through this run. He is just a player. He literally saved a career as well. Saved their team and saved his career. Like, this was Neptune's last shot. Like, he's been on plenty of teams and just hasn't performed. This was probably his last shot. And talk about making the most of your last chance, because I literally don't know how he could have made more of it. I guess maybe close out one of the majors, win one of them or something. But like they don't get to those finals without Neptune. They don't even come close. So Neptune's definitely an A tier. Our next player, Brock, your boy Brad, your boy Purge. Actually, a dude that I feel like is higher over the past 2 stages than he would have been over the first two as well. Purge has actually been playing better over the back half of the year. As much as I sometimes hated him, he has been playing.
Definitely has been better.
Does that warrant him getting into that B tier, though?
I don't think so. I think he's a high C player from this current pool of data that we have here. I like that. Yeah, high C just feels right.
I agree with you. I think the most shocking thing, what is the most, when you look at Purge's just quick glance at his stats over the past 2 stages, what is the most shocking thing that sticks out to you? Brock,
that he's second. That he's second in hardpoint engagements per 10.
That doesn't surprise me because Purge plays really fast.
Purge's control has been a lot better.
Purge's hardpoint engagements per 10 doesn't shock me too much. His control, I feel like he's always like that's always been like a game mode he's been decent at because he's a really smart player and like understands timings really well. The thing that sticks out in terms of what's keeping him in C to me in a bad way, he is 30th among qualified KD and S&D KD. Like that's what this guy's bread and butter was when he wasn't playing well. It was like, well, he's a D. He's 30th out of 32 players here in S&D KD. Is that not mind-blowing to you guys?
Yeah, because that's when, like I said, he was based off of coming
like,
in.
He's an S&D kid, and like I feel like, I always think of, well, like he's only going to give you like a 0.9 in the respawns and maybe struggle a little bit, but like he's going to be elite in S&D, and that just hasn't been the case as of late, which is just so weird.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at his S&D stats because I just figured they'd be pretty solid.
And I mean, there's another shocking player below him at 31, who we're going to get to in a little bit, but a 0.82 for Purge, and he's upper C, and I will say, like, he is a player though that like he has a really like. It sounds weird because like we're putting him in C tier, but like he has like kind of a nuts takeover. Like when he hits flow state, he has some games where he actually like legit takes real.
Yeah,
like he's certainly a player that like I'm interested to see where he goes from here, and like if he's able to get a solid team or like another like low to middle pack team next year, because like he is a player that I feel like if he got right on the right team, like he actually can make a really big impact and be a good player, because he is a really smart, really cerebral player. Like if you're gonna criticize him, and I know you're not the biggest fan of him either, Brock, but I will say, do you agree with that? At least like he's a really smart player. Like you're not often gonna see him making too many bad plays or like too many like mistakes on the map.
Yeah, he is a pretty smart player, except for maybe last year, one time on Invasion.
My least favorite play of all time. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. But overall, he's a pretty smart player.
Yeah, I feel like he makes the good plays, and that's why like just seeing his S&D KD be so poor over the back half of the season is just puzzling. We got back-to-back Heretics players to rank here, though. First, it's Real. When Super joined the team, had a little bit of a dip and wasn't playing as well, but has been extremely good as of late. Among these 32 players, he's 9th in over KD. I feel like he's a pretty stereotypical low A, high B, and I'll leave it up to you guys to rank him.
Yeah.
Ryan.
I
He's
think
an A.
Brock, you agree with that?
Well, I think high B.
I would say if we're gonna put him in B, I would say he got B.
Yeah.
Or he's low A. I don't. It's tough because
I'm
like I
okay
look
with
at
the high
him.
B.
I look at him with the SMGs and like I think Huke and Neptune have like I think Neptune for sure I'd put ahead of both Huke and Real. I think you can definitely make the argument for Real over Huke. The A tier is going to get too full. Let's put him in low B because I think his teammate has to go into the A tier.
That's what I was thinking.
Wait.
Renkor's got to go in A.
Yeah.
Wait.
Literally Rookie of the Year. Phenomenal all season.
Yeah, phenomenal all season, like you said. And the big thing for him is he's been good wire to wire, and this last stage was like his best stage, you could argue. Like he was unreal at the tournament and everything. Like Renkor continues to get better. He should, if he doesn't win unanimous Rookie of the Year, somebody doesn't know what they're doing for the voting. Like,
yeah, definitely should.
He is the unanimous Rookie of the Year. Like 100% he is. Brad, you're on board with Renkor and A?
No.
You think he's
low
S tier?
S? Yeah, low S, right behind Jill.
There's no chance because there's no way. He has been so good as of late, and he has been really, really, really good. But there's no way that like S tier has got to be reserved for like very limited. And like Renkor has been really, really, really good, but he's not at the Celium and Scrap level for the ARs that are going in S tier.
That's true. But would you put him as of recency bias? Would you put him above Draws?
I still would lean towards Draws because once again, numbers wise, of course, it's gonna look better. But I just love Draws as a player so much. Like what he does for that team. There's a reason that all of a sudden FaZe has always looked unbeatable for the most part until it comes to finals in the CDL era, and they just look even more unbeatable with Draza on their team. Like he just plays at such a good pace with an AR, and deals damage at a high level. Like is super good with a 1.12 over these stages in S&D. I still rank Draza ahead of him, but there is an argument. If you that Renkor be above him, I'm not gonna like crazy, but I still rank Draza. Draws is just he is such a glue guy for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Our next player is in. I think he's the MVP of the season. I think gotta respect. You gotta put him at S, Mr. Scrap.
Scrappy Doo, definitely.
He's the back-to-back MVP of the events. He's the MVP of the season. Like he's an S. That
100%.
Shottzy's an interesting one because, like, I would say this is the worst year for Shottzyy. Since when? I mean, Cold War? And even Cold. I mean, he was a good player. His team just wasn't good in Cold stuff. But like, he was the MVP and the Rookie of the Year in MW19. Cold War was a bit of a down year. Vanguard, he was very good early. Win event. MW2, he was a good player at MW2. Last year, I mean, you can make an argument he was the best player in the game come the end of the year. I don't. It's maybe his worst year, and he hasn't been terrible. Like early in the year, like I said, if this was over the course of the year, he was the best player in the game for an entire stage. Arguably, he's at a 1.04, 11th in KD among these players. In this stretch, he's at a 1.03 in hardpoint. I think a really surprising thing though is it in terms of engagements per 10, or where is it? I'm looking at the right thing here. want to make sure I'm sorted by the right stats so I have the right number. Where is it? In terms of engagements per 10, he's still in 8th. I was looking at the wrong. But he's still setting pace. He's still playing well. I think he's at minimum or low A player just because like his takeover is still crazy. He looks really good as of late. I don't know. I'll defer to you guys again on this one. High B, low A, kind of somewhere in there.
I definitely think A, and I definitely think he would. For me personally, I think he'd go past huke.
Yeah,
So?
I agree with that, Brock. Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking shottzyy with like middle A, honestly.
Yeah, I'll keep them. I don't know. I just think just optic. Yeah, they look good the last few weeks, but God, it's been abysmal for so long this year. I'm okay to put him in A. Just makes me, Real. I guess we can keep him in B, but it makes it look weird to have the optic guys ahead of him. Our next guy's an S tier. I'll fight anybody on it. Simp. People have been trying to tell me, he hasn't looked as good as of late. He's still at a 1.05. If you just watch the map and you realize all the things that Simp is doing, and like the one thing about Simp that you never have to worry about, he like basically never makes the wrong play.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, he's got a 1.24 over the past 2 stages in S&D. He's also usually always one of the best control players in the game. Maybe not as elite this year, but usually always one of the best control players in the game. Simp, I think, even if we want to put him at the bottom of S tier, Simp, he's still, in my opinion, the best player I've ever watched.
Yeah.
He's in the S tier still. He's still elite this year. He maybe isn't the absolute takeover Simp, but he's still elite.
Agreed. Also, he has 44 plants just in the last 2 stages.
44 plants in S&D?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Yeah, he's second in plants behind our boy,
Joe. Joe does it all, bro.
Look at Draza, most diffuses. Joe with 11 more plants than anybody else is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, Simp is 5th in kills per round behind only Hydra, Envoy, Neptune, and Super. Some really good S&D players there. Yeah, just overall Simp. Like once again, talk about like going to a year who are going to be the best players. One of the safest picks ever. Also, just saying Simp because the guy is undeniably always good.
Mm-hmm.
This next one's going to pain me, but he's in C tier. Slasher.
Slash.
Just been literally, what is he, second last in terms of these players in S&D KD over these 2 stages. He's just been overall bad. His team's been bad, and it hurts because I'm a huge Slasher fan, but he's got to go down in the C tier over the past 2 stages. He was really good to start the year. When that team change came through, a lot of players fell off on this team.
Yep.
But he's got to stick it out because he is the last OG left, and I don't want him to retire. Our next player is so low B next to Gwyn in 04. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Who is it? Sorry.
Oh, I think I lost my mic here. Hang on, I gotta fix it. I don't know. Brock, you can just. I don't know if either of you are talking. I gotta fix
it. Yeah. Brad, who did he say? I didn't hear. I think it might cut out.
What did you say, Brad?
Who did Ryan say for in between 04 and Gwyn? Right in B tier.
Right. We're back. I don't know what happened to my mic, but we're back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. What did you guys say? I couldn't hear anything. My mic shut off on me.
Oh, what the heck? I was asking, who'd you say put in B tier between Gwyn and 04?
I think Snoopy. He just like is he is those two.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. I like it.
He has takeover, but also just like moments where it's like, my God, please.
Good, bad, average.
Yeah. Super is the next one. I think Super can slot into the A tier. Low A. He's been really, really good, but it's also like there are some moments. Buddy, please move.
Yeah, for real.
There's sometimes when I'm watching him,
a little bit.
like we don't have to bait the entire map. He is, so I sorted by their engagements per 10 in Hardpoint. He is 33rd because remember I said Skies and Vivid were in here. Skies is ahead of him. in terms of engagements per 10. He is behind Insight in engagements per 10 in hardpoint. Behind Cellium, behind Slasher.
It's very typical behind Insight.
Yeah,
wow.
I think he's low A. He's unreal in S&D. He's number 1 in S&D. He's low A though. There's no way you can even. I don't even think you can in S. He's been really good and he's been super impactful for their team. He's a large reason why they've been winning and have had this turnaround because he's certainly way better than Lucky. But he just, I don't know, just so much baiting. Let's speed it up a little bit, dude. You're a good player.
Yeah,
it makes so much more sense why Envoy said what he said now.
What in his interview about Super?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super slow. He's a good player, and like it's something he's going to figure out. And I think in a year or two, he's going to kind of figure out how to play with the pace of the team. And all of a sudden, we're going to be looking at Super as an elite player. It's just right now he's still learning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our next guy, he Loki could put him in C tier as of late. I just want to put him in that bunch of Gwyn, Snoopy, and 04. TJ Haley.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been bad over the last 2 stages in comparison. I mean, he's 30th among these players in KD, ahead of only Rex and Cammy. You can definitely make an argument to put him in C tier. I just think like he's still going to make an impact in S&D. Even though he's like struggling in respawn, he's still at a 1.06 in S&D, winning more than half of his opening duels. Good player. He's bottom of B right now. I'm expecting him to have a decent champs and try to propel Ravens to do something, but probably not going to amount to anything.
Unfortunately, they were looking so good at the start too.
And then I think we got a couple players to add to the C tier at the end here.
Yep.
Wake and Rex. I mean, they are. Rex is 31st, tied for last with Cammy in terms of qualified KD among these players. And Awakening is just ahead of him in 25th, but I think you guys would agree that like just eye test for these guys too. Like Rex has his pop offs, and we know that Beans has his pop offs as well. But like, overall, or not Beans, sorry, Awakening. Overall, these guys just there isn't a lot of consistency or takeover there at times. Like they do have it, but they're bottom tier players among these guys.
100%.
All right, there it is. We actually ended up having a pretty good spread in terms of the way that they shook out on the tier list. We got 5 players in S, which I feel like is fair. A was the most saturated tier there. We got 6, 9, 11 players there. And then 8 players in the B and C tier. So 5, 11, 8, 8, like pretty good distribution of players. I don't think anything is too crazy here. Like we didn't have to have too many. We had plenty of like, 2 people thought he was an A, 1 person thought he was B, but we didn't have to have too many. Like, I don't think there was any crazy movements. I mean, like if you guys were to move one player personal list, Brad would move Rencor to S. Crazy. If you had to move like one player from what we did as a collective, is that like sticks out that you'd maybe want to move? I can just see one for me, and I'm okay with where he is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I sticking out. I feel like Real could be an A for sure.
Yeah,
definitely could, but I think I like the spread of the Heretics players out ABC.
Yeah, I like it as well. I think he could certainly be up in A. I think you can make an argument for Dashy and Kleenex being up there as well.
Yeah.
I think you can make arguments for like our bottom A. Like I think you can make an argument for like a shottzyy or a huke to be down in B. Inside, I think you can make an argument to move him up. I think our S tier is pretty firm. I don't want to move anybody up into S or down from S. I think S is shockingly. Sometimes it's hard because you have a couple players, but usually it's actually like one of the easiest tiers to rank. I think S is the most like. I don't think there's much of an argument to put anybody else up there or move anybody down. Not Rencor, Brad. No.
No. I think I like it where it is.
Guys, any other comments on the tier list before we wrap it up?
No.
All right. That's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing next week. I think we may have something. Brock and I are going to be involved voting for Jake Maverick. He's doing his like stream where he does the stream award show with his boys from around the CDL. Brock and I are going to be involved in the voting process again for the second straight year on that one. So after we end the pod, we're both going to be submitting our votes for that. And I think like I like to wait until he does, or like the day when he does his award show, because I don't want to like reveal our votes really, because I want his content. But if it's out by the time we record the pod next week, maybe we'll do that, or record something kind of talking about who we voted for. But we're looking forward to doing that, and we'll do it. We'll do a show whenever we can, kind of revealing who we voted for on that, and probably do some more champs preparation stuff, maybe some fun drafts or something. So that's gonna do it for this one, and we will see you guys in the next one.